Have you ever wanted to really develop your Camtasia skills? Or perhaps if you already use Camtasia, would you like to get your level up to, say, an intermediate or even advanced user? I've built a 6-part course that will take you through Camtasia, through everything in Camtasia, and take you right up to an advanced level. My name's Russell Stannard. I've been using Camtasia since 2006. I've won several awards for my work building educational videos, and these days I build educational videos for a variety of clients. Perhaps the best known client of mine is National Geographic. This video is going to look at some of the more advanced editing features. So these are things that I do use but not quite so frequently, and it's going to include things like working with green screen. If you're looking for another part of the course, I'm going to put a link to the 6-part playlist and you can access the different parts of the course. I'll also put the playlist in the description below, and along with that playlist there's a link where you can download and test Camtasia for 4 weeks for free. Really hope you like the course. Please like, subscribe and comment on the videos. Thank you. Whenever I do the training in working with Camtasia, I often find that people don't realize just how many things you can do with the webcam and how easy it is to play some of these tricks. I'm hoping I'm going to show you now. What we've got at the moment is a piece of video footage, which is a screen capture video, but it's got both me and some screen cast video on the screen, so you can see both things. And you'll notice that when you use the webcam, so when you record with the screen capture and the webcam at the same time, the webcam is very small. But of course what you can do, and what I'm going to do, is just lock this channel here, okay, or this track here, is that we can just simply move that and make it bigger and smaller. Okay, now this webcam, the way that I filmed it is just me on the screen with a black background, and I actually just used the webcam that the computer provides. Later we will talk a little bit about making the webcam videos of a higher quality. So the first thing I want to look at is actually moving the webcam around on the screen. And what a lot of people kind of think is, oh, you need to sort of decide where you want the webcam and that's where it's going to be. But that's not at all the case, and I'm just going to show you what I mean by that. What we can do, and we're just going to kind of zoom in here a little bit more just so you can watch this, is I'm going to play the video, just a few seconds of the video. Hi, this is Russell Stannard from teachertrainingvideos.com. I'm going to stop the video about there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the video at that point. And what I'm going to do then at that point is I'm going to move myself to another position on the screen. Now I'm going to play a little bit more of the video. Today we're going to do a new video about Camtasia, and we're going to look particularly, I'm going to stop it here again. I'm going to cut the video at that point, so just selecting the video or the webcam channel and cutting it, and now I'm going to move it again, but this time I'm not only going to move it, but I'm going to resize it as well. I'm going to make it a lot bigger for this particular part. Okay, now it's just a simple technique where you take a video but you cut it and then move yourself, and the result of that, if we play it back and we'll just, for speed's sake, we'll just kind of drag it through, you can see I'm on the screen here in the first part. Suddenly I jump over to here, and suddenly I jump over to here. And this is a technique that we can use for lots of reasons, and in fact if we watch videos on YouTube or videos that people have produced, you'll see that people are using this technique all the time, and the way that they often use it is that they jump in and out of the video. So sometimes they might be quite small on the screen, and then suddenly they're coming on the screen, even possibly full screen. You could, for example, right click and click on scale. Okay, so now I'm talking here and there's a background, but suddenly I'm on the screen full. screen. And this technique is very common. You'll see it a lot on the internet, and it's one that I have started making more and more use of. Now obviously when you go full screen, one thing to keep in mind is the quality of the recording. Webcams generally on your computer, and even ones that you buy, are notorious for not necessarily being of a really high quality. And it does mean that sometimes if you expand the webcam to the full screen, it's going to pixelate. The quality is not going to be that good. There are ways around that. We will talk about them a little bit later on. Now this is another technique that might surprise you, and as we kind of develop our understanding of Camtasia and realize that we can apply behaviors to all sorts of things. Look at this webcam. Let's just drag, in fact let's play the video first so you can watch this technique. Hi, this is Russell Sanar from teachertrainingvideos.com. Today we're going to do a new video about, and it's fading in and out. And if we then come to the end of that video, you'll see that it zooms off the screen as well. Okay, that is a technique that we can use when we're working with Camtasia. Now how did I do that? It was actually really simple. If I just come up to the top here, I'm just going to actually delete this then. So I'm going to come up to the behavior and delete that sliding behavior off. All I did was select the webcam. Again, it's a good idea, for example, just to lock the channel below or the track below. Select the webcam, and then I've come over to the behaviors, and I actually could do this with any behavior. So let's take an example. Let's use pop-up. I'm going to drag that onto the screen, and now we're going to play the video, and you'll realize, hi, that this is Russell Sanar from teachertrainingvideos.com. Today we're going to do a new video. Now remember, with behaviors, you've got, if we click on the behavior property, we've got in, how it works, during, and then out. Okay, now if we just take that off again, remember we've got plenty of other ones that we can use. So let's drag on, for example, reveal. Now I'll make it a little bit bigger just to make it really clear. Now interestingly, again, let's just play that video first. Hi, this is Russell Sanar from Teacher Training Video. Now, I could slow the speed down of the reveal. So I could slow that right down and slow it down. But also what I could do is, during, I could stop the reveal style and say, well, I don't want anything happening when I'm talking on the screen. So let's just watch this now. You're going to see straight away that it's slightly different. Hi, this is Russell Sanar from teachertrainingvideos.com. Today we're going to do a new video about Camtasia. Now these techniques can be really useful and really effective. They just need a little bit of thought, and it's this ability to control the properties of the webcam, for example, by adding a behavior and then being able to obviously control the properties of that behavior that allow you to get quite creative with the way that you work. And this is the thing that often when I'm doing the training, people realize, oh, I hadn't realized you could do that. You know, I hadn't realized that you could apply these different techniques, these different behaviors to webcams in the same way that you can, for example, to text. Now I'm just going to make the screen a bit bigger, the canvas area, so you can see it a little bit clearer. Just going to play this video. So we've got a webcam here which I've increased in size, and we're just kind of, hi, this is Russell Sanar from teachertrainingvideos.com, and then you can see that this comes onto the screen. Now often what I like to do when the webcam, and it's not a particularly exciting thing that I'm going to show you now, but it is a technique that you'll see that I use quite a lot, and I also see quite a lot of other people using it. I'm just going to click on more, and I'm coming down to what we call visual effects, and there are a number of visual effects here that could be useful to us, but one that I do use is I'm just going to drag on and add a border to my video. Okay, but what I often do with that border is I try to match it in with other colors that are on the screen. So for example, here I've got this call out that's on the screen. So what I'll often do is click here, choose the color picker or the color selector, click on the color that I want. So I'm going to choose red. And what I'll also do is thicken that quite a lot actually. So I'll often put it up to say like about, let's say I put it up to 9 now. Now let me just play that video and you'll see that it's really, really different if I now play it back, in terms of we've got this nice border around it, and we've also got the asset coming onto the screen, which in this case is a kind of call out with the link to my website, or at least with the website address. This is Russell Sanar from teachertrainingvideos.com. Please like, subscribe and comment on the videos. Thank you. Now I'm going to focus now on one of the new tools. It's called the blend mode. It's available in Visual Effects. I have to confess I haven't used it yet, but I can imagine some scenarios where I definitely am going to use this, and hopefully I'm going to show you one now. So I'm going to drag on a video onto the screen where I am both on the screen with my webcam, and you can see that I'm talking also about a PowerPoint slide. And the video has got various bits in it. First of all, it talks with that slide, then this slide, and then it in fact goes back to the other slide. Now what I want to do is actually grab this little bit here in the middle. This is the part that I want to focus on. Now what I would probably do is line the video up perfectly, and I can do that by clicking back here 1 frame at a time and picking the perfect moment to cut the video. Let's see if I can just show you what I mean. So in fact, there it is. So I'm going to cut the video at this point here, select both of the video tracks and cut it. So we call it split. And I'm going to do the same at the other end as well. Okay, so I'm just going to come to the other end of the video and just find the points, the last point I basically want. So I'm just going to click through there, and for that, there it is. This allows you to go back 1 frame at a time, so it's really useful. Select both the videos and cut them. Now what I want to do is on this part in the middle here, I'm going to drag on. So I'm going to come down to the visual effects. I'm going to drag this blend mode on. Now, in fact, let me just show you something before I do that. Let me actually just click here, and I can do this. I'm going to click on that and delete it actually, because I just want to show you something. If I was to make this webcam much bigger, like that size, notice that now it completely blocks out what is underneath. So any interesting text that might be on the screen is not visible. But look what happens if I now dropped the blend mode onto the webcam. Suddenly the text becomes visible because it suddenly blends both the webcam and the second channel, or in fact in this case it's the lower track. And don't forget, I cut the video, so we're focusing on this particular part of the video. You can see that it blends the two videos together, and that's what the blend mode does. Now the blend mode is used a lot in kind of general video production. You often see this, for example, when you see a film and there's some mist or there's some clouds, and those have actually been added afterwards and then blended with the main video. So you've got, let's say for example, a video of a castle, but you want to make it more atmospheric, and you add in some mist. But I can see lots of uses of the blend mode in education when we're making educational videos, when we want to blend the webcam with perhaps talking with a background video, which might include, for example, talking over a PowerPoint slide, or perhaps talking over a map, or perhaps talking over a diagram. I can see this working really well. Now we're coming on to one of my favourite topics. It's something that I use in nearly all my videos. It's something that I really like about the way Camtasia works. I'm going to explain this in a lot of detail, how I actually do this. And I want to make the point, first of all, that when I'm making my recordings, my green screen recordings, I'm not using my webcam. I'm actually using my telephone. Now it has the same result, that is that I can bring my telephone video onto the screen, and you can see that I've kind of, here I am on the screen. I'll just move that forward, and you can notice that I'm got a green screen behind me, and I just want to talk a little bit about this green screen. So right behind me I've got a screen, and I've very carefully lit that screen so that the green color is very even, and that's very important. Okay, so what we're looking at when we do green screen basically is to film ourselves, and we can do it with a good webcam, and sometimes I do that, but it works much better with your telephone. So you film yourself doing an introduction, and you're filming yourself with a green screen behind you. It can be other colors, but I generally use green screen. You've got a green screen behind you, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use the option that we've got in visual effects called remove color to actually remove that green color. Now there's a couple of things about that. It's important that you're not wearing green, because otherwise it's going to delete the green from your, for example, your clothing, and that would be the same for the seat that I'm sitting on as well, in case there was any greening that. So you've got to choose particularly carefully what colors you wear. I often find that light blue works really well. It contrasts a lot with the green color, and therefore it doesn't confuse the two. Now the important thing is the fact that I've lit this green canvas very equally, and I've done that by having two big lights sitting in front of me, one on the right, one on the left. And sometimes I even have some additional small lights that help to make sure that the green is kind of pretty evenly lit. And why is that so important? Well, because when I say I want to remove color, and I choose the color picker, and it says, well, what color do you want to remove? And you click and you select the color, and you notice that it basically deletes everything that's green on the screen. And because you lit the color so equally, it immediately could distinguish all of the green pixels and find them, isolate them and delete them, leaving the background, now me on the webcam still talking, but my background completely empty. Now all I need to do is add a background. So you notice that I've got this on track 2. What I can do now is add a background to track 1, and because remember now we've deleted all of this green area, it means that really this is transparent, and whatever we place on track 1 will be visible behind me in the webcam. So let's see if it works. We're going to add some images. I've got lots of images here that we can work with. So let's try, for example, let's imagine we want to add this image in the background. So I'm going to drag that onto the screen. Notice straight away that I've got the problem that that image is only on the screen for about 3 or 4 seconds. So I'm going to have to pull that out. That's not a problem at all. Now you can see the image there. Now I've also got another problem now. That image isn't particularly big. So I'm just going to move my webcam out the way and just click onto that image, and then I'm going to right click, and I've got to make sure I click on the right click, and I'm going to scale to fit, so that then fills the whole of the canvas. And it's not quite done it actually, so I'm going to move it just out. Now the result of that suddenly is that we've now got a video or a webcam of me talking, but I actually used my telephone, remember, and I will have to kind of edit it to get to the right point. I often clap, as you see, to set myself up, and then kind of, so I'm just going to select that video and cut it there. Okay, and then going to move it back so the video starts and I start talking, and you can see I've got this nice background. Now I can play around with all sorts of backgrounds, and I'm not, of course, not restricted to having one background. Let's say, for example, that halfway through, let's just say, for example, the webcam, I'm going to just click on this bottom where we got this image. I'm going to make that stay on the video for much less time. And now I'm going to bring on a different image. I'm going to drag this one onto the screen. I'm going to need to do the same thing. So it's going to move the webcam out of the way first so that I can click on that image and make that full screen. And again, I'm going to pull that out a little bit longer. And I could even do this again one more time if I wanted to. I've got one image, I've got two images. Let's just do one final one. So I'm going to drag this image onto the screen, which is quite a nice image. In fact, that is full screen, so that isn't a problem at all. And I'm going to drag that one out. Now let's just look at the result of that. Is that when the video starts, I'm on the screen talking, I've got this background, then the background changes, and then the background changes again. And that can be a really clever technique. And of course, that doesn't obstruct you from bringing other assets onto the screen as well. You know, so if you wanted to add annotations, that isn't a problem. You can add the annotations onto the screen as well. Now, of course, I'm just going to show you something. I'm going to delete those images from the background. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but instead of using images, I'm going to use video. And we can put video in the back as well. Now, I've actually got some video content here. And in fact, I've got an example of a video that I use a lot for my background on my own channel. So I'm just going to drag this on, place it underneath. You can see that this video is nice and long, so I haven't got the problem here of needing to either to add the video a second time or add more videos. The other thing about this video, which is really nice, is that it actually changes the background. The video itself has different backgrounds, so you can see it starts with this background here, and there I am, and I really like that particular background, and then it moves to another one, and then it moves to another one, and then it moves to another one. Now, incidentally, these backgrounds actually are backgrounds that I've bought from Camtasia. They offer you a library of additional assets that you can buy into, and what I did was buy into those assets and make use of them. But any background video, of course, would work. I do particularly like this one here. I really like that, and I make a lot of use of it. So it doesn't have to be a static image. It can be video, and it can be, you know, not just one video as well. It can, again, just like the images, you could change it and have a variety of different video extracts on the screen as your background. Now, the next feature that I'm going to show you is subtitles. I don't always use subtitles. They do take a while to make, particularly if they're not automated. But what we're going to do is focus on the way that we can do subtitles in Camtasia 2022. There now are other technologies that can help us with our subtitles, but I'm going to focus on just using the basic technology that's available within Camtasia, and it is a technology that I've used on several occasions. I must say the way that the captions work, or the subtitles work, is very good, but it is a longish process, as you do need, of course, to write out the whole script. So I'm going to click down here on captions. If you can't find captions, click on more and you'll find it there. I've got captions open now. And if we just click on add captions, immediately it puts a block onto the screen, and there's a little trick that we can do here. I'm just going to play the video and it will show me in that period of time, which in this case is 4 seconds, and we can adjust this, what I say in those first 4 seconds of the video. So let me click here and we can listen together. Welcome to the teachertrainingvideos.com course. Welcome. So it's a bit short. I'm going to make it slightly longer. So I'm going to increase the duration to 5 seconds. Let's see if that just hopefully works. So now we're trying 5 seconds. Welcome to the teachertrainingvideos.com course. Okay, so that's perfect. So I'm going to now write it in. So I will write the text in here now. So I've written in the text, and if we play that now, hopefully the two things will sync. Welcome to the teachertrainingvideos.com course. Welcome to the... Absolutely perfect. Now what I can do is click on the plus button, and it's going to jump onto the next part. Now let's listen to the now. Again, 4 seconds. Remember, we can adjust this. My name's Russell Stannard, and I'm just going to quickly take you through the... My name's Russell Stannard. And okay, so that's more or less synced. So I'm actually going to go with that. So again, I'm just going to simply write in the text. Okay, so I've now added the text. Just a little trick to show you actually how I do this is that when I'm adding the text, and if I click here again, we can add. What I do is I play it, and it will keep playing and repeating that section while I'm writing the text in. So watch this. My name's Russell Stannard, and I'm just going to quickly take you through the. My name's Russell Stannard, and I'm just going to quickly take you through the. My name's Russell Stannard. Now what I can do as well, as you know, is I could just slightly teeny weeny reduce the duration if I felt like it needs to be slightly long, less than 4 seconds or slightly more. Again, I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to now click on plus to go to the next part. And again, I'm going to play the video. Key content where you can find everything on the course. Key content where you can find it. And again, I would write in then key content, etc. Now there are a lot of options when we're working with this technology, and I'm just going to take you through a few of them. You can see how it works. I've worked with other tools. I often find them more tedious. I think that the way Camtasia works is pretty good. Obviously, we do have the option these days of automized or automated voice recording. Though we're focusing on trying to do it in the traditional way. So let's just look at a couple of the options. So if we click again, it brings us back in. First thing that's kind of very important is that you have got a lot of control over the font, over the size of the font. And obviously this is really, really important. And notice you've also even got control over the fill. Now this can be particularly important if you do want to have, for example, a certain fill at the bottom of the screen to really make the text stand out. So at the moment we've got a black fill here, but we could in theory change that and choose another color as the fill, as you can now see. And if we just chose that as the option, I won't make any other changes, but if we now play that back, you'll notice now. Welcome to the teachertrainingvideos.com course. My name's Russell Stannard, and I'm just going to quickly take you through the key. Okay, so you can see, obviously I haven't done the third section yet, but you can see exactly how this technology is going to work, and those options are really useful. Again, let's just click here to bring open those options. We've looked first of all here at font sizes, and you've got a number of them, the fill size, the actual font itself, the font size, even the font color can be controlled. The font color can be very important as well when you're working, and it's really important to make sure that the text is very clear on the screen. Now an absolute key tip to have in mind is if you are thinking of adding the captions or subtitles as I call them, then I think it's really important to think about that before you make the video, because I think the way that you deliver the video is really important in terms of your speaking, and to make sure, for example, that you've got little pauses between the different, basically between the stream of your language, of you talking, so that there are key moments when you can really line the subtitles up. If you're speaking too quickly and it's a kind of stream of consciousness without any gaps, then it can be really, really tricky to line the subtitles or the captions up with the audio, and that's something to really keep in mind. Now, one of the things that we haven't looked at is the incredible capabilities that Camtasia's got when it comes to audio. And in fact, there are a lot of options. And what I thought would be interesting would be to look at using audio, for example, at the beginning of a video. We often have a little bit of introductory music, perhaps with the opening subtitles. It's very common, particularly in YouTube videos. And I think that's the approach that I'm going to take, because it will combine working with some audio, working with some of the audio effects and options that we've got, but also we'll bring in some of the content from the library. So the first piece of good news is that you've got a lot of audio files available to you in your Camtasia 2022 library. If I click here, and I'm looking here at my library, and I'm going to click on the audio, which is right at the top. If you want to just listen to any of the tracks, just double click on them. Okay, so you can do that very simply. And just see that there's quite a lot of tracks here, and the one that I'm going to use for this particular video is this one here. It's called Tuesday Vibes. Okay, so I'm going to drag that onto the screen, and don't worry about the fact that it's really long. We're going to sort that out. Camtasia can deal with that. Now what we want to go along with that audio is a kind of opening screen to perhaps introduce the topic of the video, some sort of titles that you might want to put at the beginning of the video. Now, even more good news is that we've got some title animations again in our Camtasia 2022 library. I'm going to click on these. I've already started making quite a lot of use of them. In fact, I've been using them in the video that I'm making with you now. The same applies. You can click and just look at any of them. Let's have a quick look at a couple of examples. So I'm going to click on this one here, and you might notice it because actually I've been using that particular one as a kind of chapter title between the different sections of this particular video. So you can use these titles for all sorts of things. I'm going to show you this one here because it's quite nice and it's got a kind of bit of an animation in it. And the good thing about any of these videos is that we do have the option to control the colors and the text, etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that particular one. We're going to drag that onto the screen. So let's just play our animation. We've got an audio file on track 1, and then we've got this little animation on track 2. That's looking really good, but of course there's a few things that we need to do. We need to edit the text, perhaps change the colors as well of the animation. We've got control over all of those elements. We might want to blend them in with the colors of our business, for example. And also the audio carries on, and we don't want that. So the first thing we're going to do is line up the playhead to the end of the video. So just move the playhead to the end of where the animation takes place on track 2, and at that point just going to select this and just cut. Okay, and that way straight away we've now got the two elements lined up. Now it doesn't matter if they're not perfectly lined up, but if you want to do that perfectly you can do. You can see now how useful it is that you can zoom right in if you need to, and then cut it again just to make sure that you've got the two things ending together at the right moment. Now, interesting enough, and I did mention to you there are a lot of options when it comes to audio. The first thing that we can do is we're going to click on More, and we're going to come down to Audio Effects. And the one that I'm going to use is I'm going to use this fade out. I want the audio to fade out. I don't want it to be playing and then suddenly abruptly end, because at the moment if we just play the last little bit, it just ends like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade that. I can do that by dragging this fade out onto the screen, and straight away the whole experience is different now, because look at this. So already that's a little bit more professional. Okay, I'm not sure that actually that music's the right music for that particular animation. I think we might need something a bit livelier. So in fact I'm going to do that again. I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to bring in some more audio from the library, something a bit livelier to go with that. And in fact, if we just choose this first one here, let's have a look at this one. I like that. I'm going to use that, so I'm going to drag that in. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to play it right to the end, select that, delete the rest of the audio. I don't want it on the screen. I'm now going to add to my the same fade again. So I'm going to come down to Audio Effects, drop the fade out. So again we've got that. Let's see if this is any better. I like that better. Now, I'm going to zoom in here and I'm going to start to show you some of the really interesting things that we can do. First of all, if we come over to here and right click, we can actually maximize that track, and that way if we just move this playhead, we've got much more control over the audio track now. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is I don't like the audio fading out so quick, so with such a long time still to go to the end of the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab this and actually just drag it along straight, and I'm going to leave the fade right to the end. And that's one of the things that I can do. Now another thing that I can do, if I wanted to, is that I could control the volume of the whole thing. So I could in fact make that higher or lower. Now if, for example, let's say that the recording was at a fairly low level, I could even increase it. So you've got that option as well. Obviously I'm hoping that the audio at that level 100% is correct, but it is really nice that you do have those options. Now if we just right click again, we can always minimize the track and it will jump back. You've got a lot of control over how big the tracks are. You can just move your cursor over and, for example, resize them accordingly. So you've got a lot of control over the actual thickness of the tracks. Now let's just have a little look now at this animation and see if it's looking any better. Okay, so you can see now that it fades out right towards the end, much better. Now the next thing that we can do is we're going to click on that animation. So we're not going to be working on the audio, and if we want to, remember, we can lock the audio track so we're not having anything to do with it. And we could choose different colors. So here we've got a number of options. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to teacher training videos, or let's just put my name in. So I'm going to write Russell Stannard. And then what colors am I going to use? Well, let's say, for example, that I want a kind of a more reddy color. So I come in here and choose that option. So I can always update the animation. And now we're going to have a completely different kind of combination of colors, which I like much better. Now, of course, we could have the video, or in my case what would probably happen is that chapter 1 or maybe an introduction video coming onto the screen. Obviously that depends, but you can see how you have got the option to use these different audio controls that allow you to clip and cut audio. Now I'm going to take it a little bit further now and just show you some of the additional features, and this is actually getting to quite a high level of editing, but I think it's really worth seeing this because it's something that I often do. So I've got a video here on the screen. I'm going to play this and you'll notice, in fact, there are a number of mistakes in the video. So we're going to play the video. Let's just listen to it a minute. Hi, this is Russell Stannard from teachertrainingvideos.com. Really hope you enjoy. So straight away you can see that we've got a problem here. Now what can we do about this? Well, actually there's a lot we can do with Camtasia, and I'm going to show you a couple of wonderful tricks. This is one of my favorites. I use it all the time. I'm going to select the video. Now I know where the mistake is. The mistake's around here. I'm just going to double check. Okay, so perfect. I'm going to line that right up, and I'm going to move the playhead, and I can do this. I can make a kind of selection, and I can select right over that mistake. Now watch this. I'm going to right click and I'm going to click a great feature which is called ripple delete, and what that does is it cuts that part of the video out but rejoins the video together, so it doesn't leave a gap. So I'm going to click on it, and suddenly that whole mistake has been deleted from the video. Let's play that now. Really hope you enjoy this. So we've completely deleted that mistake from the video. Now I'm going to show you another mistake and another technique. I don't know if these are the correct techniques that I should be using, and there probably are even other ways of dealing with these problems, but I want to make this one clear because again this is something that I often use. I'm just going to play a little bit of this video right at the end, and I make a mistake. Instead of saying the word videos, I say the word internet. Let me just play that to you. It can help us to edit the internet. Okay, so I made a mistake there and I need to rectify that. So this time I'm going to use another technique. I'm going to select that audio. I know it's this last bit here. Of course it could be any part, but it's going to be this last bit here. I'm going to select that. And the first thing that I'm going to do is just right click and notice that I've got the option to silence audio. Now it's not going to silence the whole thing, just that selected area, silence audio. Now what I can do is try to re-record the word that's missing. In this case it's the word video. So we've done that, we've finished that, we've silenced the video. So I'm going to double click there now, and I'm going to click now on the coming down to the voice narration tool. So I'm going to click on voice narration tool. Make sure you've got the right microphone connected, make sure you've got the right level. And I made a mistake there because I was starting to talk, so I'm going to just cancel that and just do it again. Just, do you want to continue? Yes. All I need to do is record the word videos. Videos. Save. Now what I can do is kind of line that up. Now interestingly, if I just click on this a minute, I'm just going to move that over there. One thing I can do, I'm just going to lock this particular channel, is that I can make sure, for example, that word videos, if I just play it, edit videos, okay, is that what I can do now is just, I only need that particular part of it. Okay, now I'm going to turn that off, and now hopefully I can still leave it in the channel behind. It should say edit videos. Let's see if that's worked. To edit videos, and that's pretty good. Okay, sometimes this isn't perfect. I often find though when you actually output the video, because Camtasia does offer a kind of video balancing or audio balancing feature when you make the final video, that if there is a slight difference in the volume levels, that's all dealt with when the video is compressed and made available for the internet, etc. Okay, really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want the next part of the course, remember you can access the complete playlist below. There's also the option to download Camtasia 2022 for free and use it. And on the screen now, I'm going to add the next part of the course. Thank you very much.